are sitting down with Josh just to chat with him for a little bit about. Hey everyone, we are sitting down with Josh for just a few minutes this morning. I'm going to ask him some questions just about who he is and why he does what he does. He's really tired. He didn't get much sleep last night and had a lot of calls, so this should be interesting. But here we go. So, babe, just tell everyone where you grew up. Where did Josh grow up?
I grew up in a small town in California called California City. Had about 13,000 people in it. It's about an hour and a half north of LA.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we lived. And then in 2004, we moved here to Virginia.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your childhood. Were you an active kid? What was your family life like?
I was very active as a child. My family life, growing up until I was 10, my parents were divorced. They ended up getting remarried. My mom worked for the California State Prison as an MTA. So I spent a lot of time with my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was stationed in Coronado and San Diego, California, and he was in the Navy, and he was did 26 years in SEAL team. Growing up, I played all the sports that every kid normally would play: basketball, football, baseball, soccer. Played golf, played tennis, wakeboarded, all the stuff.
That's awesome. Where did you go to college, and what did you play sports in college?
I went to, first college I ever went to was at Maranatha. I played football there. Then I went to Bob Jones University, and there I played soccer. And that's about my college experience.
Yeah, with sports. And we met at college. So we met, our freshman year? And then we got married your senior year. Junior year. Tell everyone a little bit about where we've lived since marriage.
We lived in Greenville, South Carolina. Then we moved to Alaska, and then back here to Virginia.
Okay. Tell everyone a little bit about work. What have you done work-wise since college?
I worked for the university while I was in college. Then I worked for a company called Incident Prints. Hey, move along. Incident Prints, and we moved to Alaska. I worked at a pizza joint. And then I did some side jobs. There I was a volunteer firefighter, and I worked for Alaska State Forestry as a wildland firefighter. And then moving back here, I started out at Kohl's, and that was absolutely horrible. And then I sold cars for First Team Toyota. Great people, terrible job. And then I ended up getting my job with the city of Newport News as a firefighter.
So why firefighting?
It was something that I ended up falling in love with. It was unexpected. My parents mentioned it to me back when I was 19, and I was like, yeah, it's cool, but not for me.
Yeah.
And I always knew I wanted to serve. My entire family was basically in the military, and I thought the military was for me. It isn't. And so I was trying to find my niche. And when we were in Alaska, I ended up really falling in love with what we were doing, and decided that I wanted to do this full time and professionally. And in Alaska, it's really hard to get a full time job, and
in firefighting.
Yeah, in firefighting. My brother-in-law, for example, he's been a wildland firefighter for I can't even tell you how many years now, and he just now finally got hired as a full time wildland firefighter with State Forestry. So it's ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
So we moved back here so I could get a job with Newport News.
Okay. Now, kind of shifting gears a little bit, why you've been in sports your whole life? You played everything as a kid, and then in college, and in high school and college. But what started your fitness journey?
Honestly, it was basically my dad's. Part of it was my dad's job, and then when I was younger, I was the smallest kid, and I got picked on all the time. So I just wanted to be the kid that was big and people were afraid of. And then with my dad, with his job, macho man of macho man, I used to walk around SEAL teams thinking these dudes were the biggest, most buff dudes in the entire world. Besides the fact they're like the most elite military dudes in the world. And so I grew up working out with my dad and working out with my friend Buddy. We had a gym in our house, and my friend Buddy had a gym in his house, and it was just part of something I did growing up.
Yeah, yeah. What propelled you into the bodybuilding world, though?
I always loved bodybuilding. My dad did bodybuilding style training growing up, and so did I, because that's what my dad did. And then my friend Buddy, he trained bodybuilding because that was pretty much how his dad lifted. And so growing up, I mean, I saw the magazines, I watched the videos, and it was something that pretty much I fell in love with, that I was like, one day I would like to compete in this sport.
Yeah. And I know you did, after playing around with, bodybuilding as a teen and then in college, you found CrossFit, functional training, and you've done that for a long time. You competed in that. Now, as a firefighter, functional training is needed for your job. So how do you plan on kind of fusing the two together?
I plan on doing it mostly in the off seasons. So right now, we would consider this my off season, where I'm putting muscle on. So I'm eating more food. I'm not in a calorie deficit. So I have the ability to basically make my cardio more functional versus on the stair climber. And really, I'm not even supposed to be doing a ton of cardio. But it's my opportunity to do that. As I prep for a show and I get into an actual prep, then I'll probably not do it anymore. But other than the cardio that my coach programs for me.
Yeah, okay. And you study, what did you study in college? I mean, fitness has kind of been your focus for a long time.
In college, I studied health and exercise science. It was a great degree. Honestly, if I could have done things differently, I would have. Unfortunately, health and exercise science, I can name every bone and muscle in the body and tell you about Krebs cycle and tell you about how your body digests carbs, fats, and proteins and blah, 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 blah. But it never really taught me how to teach someone how to move. Originally I started out as a physical therapy because I thought I liked the body. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to fix people. I want to build athletes. And so that's when I got into health and exercise science. But a lot of what I've learned has been different certifications that I've done, my own personal research versus classes, and then learning on myself and training other people, experience.
Yeah, I'm your experiment.
Actually, it was Austin, poor guy.
Oh. So where are you now? What is your what are you planning on doing with bodybuilding? What's your goal?
My goal is to be go fully competitive. I would like to get my pro card. I've always wanted to be a professional athlete in some avenue. And so I would like to get to the point where I am able to compete for a pro card and maybe have a pro card and be a sponsored athlete and things like that.
Yeah.
But I will still do some sort of like functional training and stuff for the job. I mean, as of right now, bodybuilding doesn't necessarily pay the bills. It can, but my full-time job being a firefighter pays the bills. So I still have to maintain a body that's able to perform and do the duties that I need to do every day.
Right. And then really quick, tell me a little bit how you feel not being able to compete. We had planned on you competing, you were ready to go, and then I think it was 3 days prior to the competition, you got pulled. Tell me a little bit about that and how you're feeling about that.
Yeah, so basically I started dieting way too hard, way too soon. I started dieting February 1 because I was going to compete in August, which was a 26-week prep. I didn't make it to the August show, just wasn't ready. Then the plan was to compete in November. Well, when I switched coaches, I had a completely different dieting plan, and my body had stopped responding about 3 weeks out from the competition. It was just kind of exhausted and wore out and really wasn't responding to any stimuli the coach gave me.
Yeah.
And about 2-3 days out from the competition, I had been drinking about 2 gallons of water for 4 days, and that's just designed to flush the system, just completely normal. And I got home from the gym, barely made it through the workout, and had a migraine, headache, elevated blood pressure, elevated pulse, and I just knew something was kind of wrong with me. So I texted my coaches and informed them what was going on, and they just decided that was the last straw, and that it would be safer for me to not compete versus risking my health to just do a competition.
Yeah. Okay. Were you pretty bummed out about that?
Yeah, my initial thought process is failed. It was failure. My goal in 2019 was to compete in my first bodybuilding competition, and I was not able to successfully do that. I mean, I still had a great journey. Lost about 60 pounds
Wow.
and 10 inches off my waist. So I would say that it was a successful year. I'm leaner than I've ever been, ever in my entire life.
Yeah.
And so it was hard, and it was embarrassing because
Yeah.
I did tell everybody that I was going to do this. And so there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of emotions.
I think you've handled it very well, though. I think I was pretty emotional too about it, but you've got this mindset that, you know what, you're not going to let this stop you, and you're going to move forward and push on for the next one. So I've seen him grow through this. I've seen him change even in these last couple weeks a tremendous amount, and he's better for it, and I'm so proud of him. So he's not going to let anything get him down. He's not going to let it stop him, and I'm really proud of that. So to round this off, describe yourself in just a couple words. What does Josh equal? What makes you you?
Exclamation point / question mark.
Lots of question marks.
Yeah. Tend to be a pretty colorful personality. Flamboyant, I would say. What a lot of people don't know about me is that I actually tend to be more of an introvert. I will not go out of my way to talk to you if I don't know you or I don't have some sort of interest in talking to you. I usually don't start up conversations until I get comfortable with you, and then at that point, then who I am really comes out.
Yeah. You have to get to know him. I thought he was so annoying the first time I met him. Just loud, obnoxious. But once you get to know Josh, you know, he's a fantastic person, and can't complain. I married you, so. All right, well, thank you so much for chatting with us. You look super tired. We're going to end this. But thank you so much.